The guys would like us. They have pulled a piece of sound from Steve Kerr on our show back on March 12th.
I remember that show. I was great that day.
You were great.
Was I off?
You asked a great question, but he didn't say it.
Yeah,
I thought it to myself. I'm like, that's a great question. Anyway.
Yeah, you were off, Dibs. It was actually Willard and I.
You lie.
No, I don't. There's actually a really funny coincidence.
I was thinking it might have been March Madness. Might have been my March Madness trip.
That's so funny. Anyway, March 12th.
I'm so out.
Steve Kerr is on the Willard and Dibs show. And he gets into the lineup thing and the young player thing and the rookie thing. And he admits that he's like, Pods and TJD were not in our original plans. Let's take a listen to what he said.
I didn't know anything about Brandon or Trace, so when the season started, we didn't plan on them contributing. Usually rookies, aren't ready for this, but both guys have proven to be ready. You see how advanced they are with their understanding of the game, their awareness, their knowledge of who they are as players and how they can make the team better. So those are rare qualities for rookies. And, so to see that, to see them coming along, to see, J.K. and how he's progressed, Moses too, it's really been fun just to see all the young guys start to blossom and help us win a lot of games.
I will argue this. I do think Brandon Pajemski, every time I heard Steve Kerr talk about him, I got the feeling that he was trying to say, there's so many things he does for us on the floor that you all don't see. And so that doesn't mean we don't get to have an opinion, but I'd love to have a conversation with Steve just about that. And maybe even if it were like a private conversation, like what does this guy do, both good and bad, that we don't see? Brandon, JK, Moody, what happens in practice? What do you see that then leads to your lineup decision? And we do know, for instance, the analytics of one player with another player on the floor.
The combos.
Right? Like, why is Moody not in there? Well, it turns out when he and Pods or he and Steph or he and whatever, when they're on the floor together.
We know the Wiggins and Kuminga was
the only
not working.
Not working. And then it worked better, but still not great. But they have that for everybody. They've got it for everybody. And we don't know that. I don't know that when Moody and, give me another player,
Kavan or Draymond.
When Moody and Draymond are on the floor, how does that go? I don't know. They do. And that might be governing decisions. And we're sitting here going, what the hell's the matter with you, Kerr? So
play Moses Moody.
Yeah.
Why won't you play Moody more?
Put him in there. He shoots a three and it goes in sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
We knew that Clay and TJD had a nice kinship on the court, too. And so that was a combination that you started to see more often when TJD would come in with Clay when he was playing.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game. KGMZ, FM, and HD1 San Francisco, and Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. For a low-rate auto loan, apply online, or just ask for First NorCal financing at the dealer. Look, a lot of you want to weigh in, and we're coming to all of you, I promise. I just want to read this one text and give a whimsical, non-serious response. I don't want to offend anyone, but the 510 just texted in. Fans are not dumb, man. We're watching the game and we see what's going on. Ready for my response?
Yep.
Yes, we are.
And no, you don't.
Oh, yes, we are. We are hellaciously stupid when it comes to this stuff, and you will be so much freer when you just admit it. And I very, very carefully said we. Yes, we are. We're so stupid.
He doesn't speak for me.
We have a TV. You think that qualifies you for something? Oh, my God, you have a remote control.
I played this game. I've coached this game.
They are in practice every day. They have an office building with an analytics department with more computers than a Waymo car.
So I have some credibility here.
They have millions of dollars on the line and all of their jobs, too. We have a TV and twice a year a ticket. Just admit it. We're allowed
Doesn't mean they're always right.
No. And we're allowed to have an opinion, and we're allowed to say whatever the hell we want, and this is fun. but I find it to be a freeing thought. We are very dumb when it comes to knowing the inner workings of our favorite team. I think we are incredibly dumb.
And by we, you mean you and who? Because you don't speak for me.
Whoever else wants to join me on the dumb boat.
Yeah, you'd be pretty much solo in the dumb boat.
Fine, but I think I'm smart for being on the dumb boat.
I think we have 4 experts on the phone who are not willing to join you on the dumb boat.
That's fine, but I think I'm smart for being dumb because I think that is acknowledging and admitting what's true. And I will tell you, just as a side example, there are other football coaches in life I know. Other football, have nothing to do with the 49ers, okay? Other football coaches. And they think that any football fan in the Bay Area who takes any broad issue with Kyle Shanahan, I'm just telling you, this isn't me now. This is other people who
unnamed football
coaches. Do you want to know what they think?
They think Kyle's pretty good, Mark.
Do you want to know what they think of 49er fans who are out on Kyle Shanahan? They think that you are the biggest idiot in the history of the world.
Well, these are coaches who don't understand or appreciate what it is to be a fan. Because when you're a fan, it's not, you don't have to pass an IQ test or the SAT to be a fan.
Correct.
You're allowed to think and feel however you want to think and feel. And if you think that Moses Moody should play more because you watch the game on TV and you like what Moses is doing, then think it. Think it, believe it, say it, call it, text it, and tweet it.
Beautiful.
Because that's what you get to do as a fan.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be about smart or dumb.
No, of course, and I take that from no one. But I find it freeing to acknowledge that there's a lot of crap going on in there that I don't know.
Of course. And there's a lot of crap that goes on everywhere that you don't know. Whether it's true. You go to order a meal at a restaurant, you have no idea what's going on in the kitchen.
That's a great point. And that's why you tip even if the food is late or the whatever. Like, you got no clue what's going on back there.
You have no idea. And so, depending on what kind of day the chef is having might determine just how good your meal is. Or maybe he's fighting with the busboy or the dishwasher is cheating on the server's girlfriend. You don't know what's going on.
There's a lot of crap going on in a restaurant.
So much crap.
Oh, my God.
Probably as much as is going on in an NBA locker room.
By the way, if you don't go back there if you ever want to eat out again. Just don't go back there.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on back there.
And don't ask to meet the chef to thank him personally because he's busy and doesn't want to come out there. Or she. Anyway.
He might want to, or she might. He might want to come out and take a bow. I don't know. Let's go to Frank in San Jose. Hi, Frank. What are you doing?
Hey, man. Driving. Hoping I get to a gas station before I run out. Hey, guys, listen. Kuminga and Pod. I love them both. But you have to look at it in terms of floors and ceilings. Pod's floor is incredibly high. As a matter of fact, the last time I saw a rookie who looked this good, and I said it early in the season last year, I was talking to my son, he reminds me of Draymond Green. The level of intelligence and understanding of the game that he has as a rookie reminds me of Draymond Green, and that's really high praise. He does literally everything better than Kuminga but score. Everything. Pass, defend, takes charges, just understands the game better. As a rookie, Kuminga's been there for 3 years. Kuminga is a really good scorer. Unfortunately, he can't shoot. A lot of his baskets, his scoring, comes off wide open looks that he gets created by other players. The gravity of Steph Curry, sometimes Klay Thompson, right? He's getting cuts to the basket based on other guys. Don't think Kuminga can be your second best player on a championship team. I honestly believe that. If he's your second best scorer, you are not winning a championship. That's my belief.
Well, Frank, first of all,
unless he gets better. Yeah, I agree, Frank.
I agree completely right now. I don't know. I'm not projecting 2-3 years down the road. I don't think there's any way right now that Jonathan Kuminga is ready to be the second best player on a championship team. That's why largely the Warriors right now are not a championship team. Now, I do think there were some statements in there that I would take issue with. Pods being better at everything but scoring. Like he said, he's better on defense than Kuminga. He's not. Kuminga at least on the ball. And that's kind of why I separate different. But like on the ball, Kuminga's a way better defender than Brandon Podziemski is. But how about a rotational defensive player? That's where Jonathan can struggle at times. Off the ball, knowing where to be, knowing where everyone's supposed to be. That's not been a great point for Kuminga. And again, here we go down the road of Pods is this, and Kuminga's not that. And like, it's hard
not about the comparison. No, Lucas brought in something from Anthony Slater that we're going to share more details on. But one thing that just popped off is that Pods led the team in plus minus. They were a plus 264 when he was on the court for the year. And I know plus minus is a stat that we all weaponize for our own benefit, but when you look at a season-long plus minus,
there's the point.
264. They were 264 points to the good when he played. Second on the team, a little guy named Steph Curry. They were plus 75 or 75 points ahead, rather, of Steph Curry in that plus minus. So the defensive and offensive ratings were great when Pods is on the floor, and that's all combos now. That's when he's on the court with Draymond, with Kevon, with Moses, Usman Garuba, Guy Santos, and all the rest of it.
Well, that's a great point, because plus minus, when people do that, because like they played Charlotte last night and this guy led in plus minus, that's lame. But over the whole season, the large sample, I do think that means something, don't you?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, especially when you have a team that was, you had a positive point differential for the year, but not way above positive, and he was a plus 264 for the year in 2,000 minutes. That's pretty impressive.
Another point from the Slater piece is this. The stunted two-timeline project that we're all so familiar with from the last few years. Two timelines, right? Steph, Clay, Dre, and then here comes the next crew, and we're just going to win all the championships every year. Slater writes, there's been intermittent friction between the front office and the coaches about the unsteady opportunity and performance of the recent draft picks. So that means Joe Lacob also calls Steve, hey, aren't you playing Moody? And Kuminga.
Right, and Wiseman.
So he writes, that never existed with Podziemski. There has been and remains rare alignment and consensus of the front office belief and the coaching staff trust about his present and future. And this person, the next 3 years, makes $3.5, $3.7, and $5.7 million.
So he comes in as a rookie.
That is all.
Leads the team in plus minus, and there is complete, I guess, a unanimous feeling and belief about the player that he is and the player that he can be. And you want to trade him? A guy who's under 3 years of team control, making almost Brock Purdy money, and you want to ship him? I would say that he's probably as off the table as anybody.
I'd probably agree with that. Yeah. Gene in Oakland. Hi, Gene. What are you doing? Gene, you there? Gone. Jonathan in the city. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you.
Yeah, there it is.
Flowing Water, Plumbing, and Drain, our friends. Thank you very much. That one was an easy one. Hi, Jonathan. What are you doing?
Hey, man. Just still in bed. Good morning, Dibs. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. Get out of bed, Jonathan. The day's half over. What are you doing?
Hey, I just want to say, man, biggest difference between Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga, you know exactly what you're getting with Podziemski. With Jonathan Kuminga, you don't know. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not. And as a coach and as a fan, you want to see a player be consistent. You want to be able, you want to play a guy, you know exactly what you're getting. And I don't know why people, sometimes they turn into a racism thing. I don't get it. And we're just fans, man. Stick with basketball. But, at the very least, Podziemski is a glue guy. And you need guys like that because otherwise your team's fragmented.
Jonathan, thanks. Yeah, I think those are, I thought he was going to keep going and sing a song or something, but he hasn't gotten out of bed yet. So, yeah, I think that those are largely fair points. I think you're being a little tough on Kuminga. He was certainly in the second half of the year. He was pretty consistent with what he does. The problem is, this may sound like a weird statement, consistently inconsistent, but I don't mean that in terms of his output. I mean that in terms of his well-roundedness. I don't think that there's a problem with his consistency of being able to put up 18 or 19 points in a game. I think there's inconsistency in, do you know exactly where everyone's supposed to be? Are you rotationally doing the right things up and down the floor? I think there were good nights. I think there were bad nights.
Yeah.
Still.
Especially defensively. Offensively, he's the guy who you throw it to late in the shot clock and he gets you a bucket, but it's all part of the growth and maturation, and hopefully he takes that step this year.